Welcome inside the CitrusTV studios for another web edition of Cuse Countdown alongside Jackson, Ajello, and Emily Wood. I'm Christian Guzman. Syracuse travels down to Atlanta on Sunday to play Georgia Tech, and on Monday they played Louisville, lost to the Cardinals. Jackson, you picked Syracuse to win. What happened?
Well, Syracuse didn't shoot the ball very well in this game for a second straight game. Syracuse shot only 23% in that game after following it up with a 30% performance against Pittsburgh. You need to shoot the ball a lot better in order to win some games.
Absolutely. I saw two huge problems for the Orange this game. They had obvious rebounding issues. They let Louisville get inside them just about every time the ball was shot up. Also, they struggled going to the basket. They relied on perimeter shots, and when they weren't falling, when Andrew White had an off night for him, they had nowhere else to go with the ball.
Yeah, definitely when you have someone tall patrolling the paint like Anas Mahmoud did for the Cardinals, it can be definitely very tough to score down low. Well, Georgia Tech has a very good team this year, unlike previous years where it might have been a give-me win for the Orange. Let's take a look at how these two stack up against each other. Well, on paper, the Orange do seem to have an advantage as she holds advantages in points per game, field goal percentage, and three-point field goal percentage. For Georgia Tech's defense, still pretty strong. They hold an advantage over opponents' points per game there with only 66.7 points as opposed to 70.3. But the big guy on Georgia Tech, much like Anas Mahmoud was for Louisville, is Ben Lammers for Georgia Tech. He leads the ACC in blocks. What's the Orange going to have to do to figure him out on defense?
Well, on defense, Syracuse just need to get into his body and attack him. It's going to be a real struggle for the Orange. They struggled a little bit with Anas Mahmoud. He's the second in the ACC in blocks. And as Christian mentioned, Ben Lammers is first in the ACC in blocks. But as far as stopping him on offense, it's going to be a real struggle out there.
Right, I completely agree with you. They just can't be afraid to try and go inside on him. I feel like they're going to be a little too timid and try and rely on those perimeter shots again with a big guy like him in there. They can't do that. And defensively, I think a guy like Torian Thompson's going to have to step up and play a little better defensively. I know he had a better offensive night last game, but defensively he's going to have to step up, use his height a little bit.
And we'll see if Torian Thompson can actually stay out of foul trouble also. We saw him with 4 fouls early in the second half, then didn't play that much later. But when it comes down to this, who's your key to the game, Jackson?
My key to the game is going to be the point guard play for this Syracuse team. Syracuse really needs the point guards to play well in order to win. In their 5-game winning streak, the point guards are averaging 7.6 assists per game and just 4.5 in the losses. And it's not just how well the stats stack up in the wins and losses. It's also visually. When you watch them against Louisville, they seemed a little bit lost at times. The offense seemed a little disjointed. It's just visually, it didn't look as crisp as it has in other games. And that falls on the point guard because they're the floor generals. So if they play well, this team plays well.
Yeah, I agree. My key to the game is going to be that they have to win the rebound battle. They struggled against Anas Mahmoud. They're going to have another struggle with Lammers in there. However, they're going to have to figure out a way to get inside position on him. They can't let Lammers be inside them every single time the ball is shot up. They just have no chance if they let him do that. They've had a negative rebound margin all year, and they just can't let that continue.
So maybe Tyler Roberson steps up for the Orange. He's been quiet the entire season. And you guys could probably say that Syracuse desperately needs this win against Georgia Tech. Can't afford a loss here. And do they get it on Sunday?
I think they do. I'm going 78-70 Syracuse. It will be a tough battle. The teams are very similar in a lot of categories. However, I don't think Andrew White is going to have another poor game. I think he's going to step up, play the way he's played all year. If he would have made half the shots he would have made all year, I feel like they would have won that game against Louisville. I also believe that with Tyus Battle being healthy, he's gonna step up and play a big factor in this game. We saw what he did when he got into the game against Virginia. It made a huge difference for the Syracuse team.
Piggybacking on your Andrew White point, I don't think he's going to shoot 2 for 14 in this game. I'm going to go 75-67 Syracuse with the win in this game. I just don't think he's going to shoot 2 for 14, as I said. He shoots 38% on the season. I think he's going to step it up against this Georgia Tech team. And Syracuse might not have to do as much scoring against Georgia Tech, as Georgia Tech is last in the ACC in field goal percentage, three-point percentage, and points per game.
So maybe a momentum win for the Orange as they head into another big contest against Duke on Wednesday. Well, that will do it for this web edition of Cuse Countdown. Follow us at CitrusTV Sports on Twitter for live updates through Sunday's game, and check CitrusTV.com for a full game recap of Syracuse and Georgia Tech. For Jackson Ajello and Emily Wood, I'm Christian Guzman. Enjoy the game, Syracuse.